we undertook the AutoNation report to try and really get beneath the headlines of some of the big concerns about the labour market, particularly around automation and the rise of robots, and quite a dystopian hype in the media right now, and really wanted to think about how that's actually manifesting, what we can learn from the labour market and data about the labour market, and how that might play out to a slightly different future, and provide some practical detail and understanding about what we might do to prepare for whatever future comes. So there's a lot of hype about automation, particularly focusing on some of the major uncertainties in the negative end. It's grabbing headlines, it gets media attention. I think what we're trying to do here is really think about what can we learn from what is actually happening. Automation isn't a new thing, it's been around for centuries, right? So what can we learn from what is happening in the labour market and how the labour market has adjusted? And what we can learn about the conditions of the labour market right now and how it might then continue to adjust, and really start to think about practical short-term steps we can take with that uncertain future in mind, but forewarned is forearmed in that sense. It's really important, I suppose, for two key reasons. One is real change happens on the ground. Jobs, people working, people living in place. So places where industries, occupations, and workers meet. Secondly is there's a massive variation across this country, variations in the industry and occupation mix, in the population base, and in the productivity. And so I think with anything to do with the labour market, but in the case of automation, it's going to have different exposure at different levels, as we pick out in the report. And whilst we're trying to focus on exposure, not necessarily in the negatives, what we can start to think about here is the positive impacts that embracing aspects of automation might play to bringing a degree of growth in areas that are perhaps lagging behind on productivity. So it's an opportunity as much as a reflective of the fact that we don't have a single economy and that it will manifest in different ways in different places. Automation and the challenges and opportunities and that exposure lies across all three dimensions, and they're all critical. Education is very much about understanding the continued importance of core skills and making sure that the curriculum offered to new entrants to the labour market, as much as those already in the labour market, reinforces those core human skills. There's a rapid change in the technical skills, so the need to continue to educate ourselves and use the education system to help us through what commonly is referred to as lifelong learning. The need to continue to upskill and reskill, particularly on those technical skills, is so critical. So that's the education piece. Economic development really are drivers of change at the local level. We've talked about the importance of locality, and so local enterprise partnerships and the work they're doing around the skills agenda is so critical. But also thinking about the role they play with business in localities and similarly local authorities in trying to help business thrive, not just through harnessing the skills pipeline, but think about how they work with the existing workforce, upskill that, and embrace the opportunities that automation in the workforce will bring. And thirdly, employers, it's really the flip side of all of that, which is thinking about how employers can be forewarned and sort of pre-plan through their workforce planning activities to really think about the skills they have in the business right now, how those skills might need to change in the future, how they embrace education, the education system, to really drive forward growth in their employees and therefore drive productivity within the workforce.